This is a good one now. This was alarming. That's what I shared. This is what it's going to look like.
Vladimir Putin announced this week that Russia will begin using the Chinese yuan for international payments instead of the dollar. Saudi Arabia is also in talks with Beijing to do the same thing. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, they are in talks with Iran as well to consider an economic alliance with China and Russia. And they can even be joining the BRIC countries, which is an acronym for these countries here, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries all have emerging economies. So what happens if our economy and the U.S. dollar are no longer the world's dominant currency? Former Assistant Treasury Secretary and host of the Monica Crowley podcast, Monica Crowley, is here to weigh in. Monica, great to see you this morning. Let's start right there. What happens if these emerging economies move away from the U.S. dollar towards the Chinese yuan?
Well, good morning, Will. It's great to be with you. And it's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the U.S. dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Look, there is a perfect storm.
Do you know what a currency collapse and hyperinflation would do to America with how chaotic it already is, how fractured it already is? It'll be catastrophic, like she said. It's not just like, oh, we're going to peacefully, not be the Zog Empire anymore. It's going to be the total annihilation of Edom. Blood in the streets is literally what the rabbi said.
Well, then tell your government to stop using economic warfare around the world.
Dude, I've been doing that.
You can't have it both ways, Adam.
You don't think that a lot of people have been opposing the war on terror?
Dude, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, okay, we need American empire for the people. We're going to impose these ridiculous economic sanctions on people, other countries, and then not expect them to do anything.
So would you rather have it be the China, Russia, Israel empire?
No, it's not China, Russia, Israel.
That is. Whoa.
Israel
yes, it is.
America a thousandfold more than Russia or China. It's not even fucking close.
It's a different type of control, but that's what it's going to be. If it's not America, the alternative is going to be Russia, China, and Israel. With the Edom destroyed, exactly what they want.
America is a Zionist slave state. Prove me wrong.
You know who you're talking to.
Yeah, you know it better than anyone. So I don't even know why we're even having this discussion. You understand that we are fucking a vassal state.
Yeah, and instead of rooting for the bloc that's meant to take us down and usher in our destruction, I'd rather address the issues here. But that's not what's going to happen. That's not even remotely what's going to happen. The people that engineered the fall of America, like I said, are going to be just fine. They got investments, they got homes all over the world. They'll be fine when America falls. They don't care.
They're going to be in their shelters in Antarctica or fucking Israel, wherever. Right. But that's. I think we're trying. Can they instigate a nuclear war between America and the East? Yes, they can. Mm-hmm. Must we do everything in our power to prevent that? Yes, we should. That's my fucking attitude.
I agree. We should. We should try to prevent the war. Exactly.
Right.
All right.
Happening right now, Will. The world's reserve currency being that, having that status has been a real privilege, but we've abused the privilege by wholly reckless monetary and fiscal policies over many years, certainly over the last couple of years, which has really devalued the dollar. On top of that, now you do have this perfect storm of Biden's weakness, his war on American domestic energy production, the Ukraine war, and as you point out, because of all all of these things. We've got America's enemies led by China forming a new economic bloc. And all it would take at this point now, because we're at this pivotal moment, Will, is for Saudi Arabia, who has indicated that they're open to this, to say, you know what, we're going to be open to considering other currencies to trade in oil. If that were to happen, there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system, but certainly the American economic system.
Great reset.
And if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status.
Monica, the world's reserve currency, you said it's a privilege for the United States for the dollar to have been the world's currency. How does that relate to each individual American? How has that changed or impacted or improved our lives throughout the last several decades?
Yeah, I mean, it's given the United States incredible dominance in the world in terms of the economic system and in terms of trade. It's kept prices down. So whether it's energy prices, whether it's your food prices, the entire global economic system is reliant on the safe and secure dollar. But that is no longer true, again, because we've been printing money like crazy and devalued the power of the dollar and the value of the dollar. But on top of it now, again, oil is the critical linchpin of this. If Saudi Arabia decides to join with America's enemies here and start trading oil in different currencies, that is going to undermine the entire global economic system. And here at home, you know what it's going to mean for us? It's going to mean raging inflation, so much worse than anything we have ever experienced, Will. And I'll tell you, they're setting it up so that they can then come to the rescue by introducing central bank digital currencies. If they were to do that, and the United States already has a pilot program, that means the loss of your individual economic freedom, because the government will have total access and control of everything you buy and sell, and the ability to turn it off like that.
That's ominous warning. I hear you. Saudi Arabia is the tipping point. Oil trading in dollars is the tipping.
It's happening.
It's called.
Hey, Shalom Akim, more praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem, Rakah, Quadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstones, salute to sincere Akim out there of the hopeful elect. Right? Hey, and that news piece right there said it all, man. It said it all. Everything that we've been saying for the past 20 years, few decades, all right? 3-4 decades, going into how long the apostles have been out there prophesying on the street, and people looked at us like we were madmen, like we were crazy. But now this is becoming blatant news, all right, on your news feed, man. You know, but, you know, of course, Jake ain't paying attention to the news. They'd rather be entertained by sports and, you know, silly TV shows and comedy shows. And, you know, Jake just want to be entertained, man. But when reality is smack dead in your face and the entertainment, the bread and circus is over, that's when you're going to have to deal with the reality of it, okay? And that was a clip from No More News, hosted by Adam Green on BitChute. All right, and you know, all I got to say to that is that there's no saving America, man. There's no saving America. All right, but like I said, man, this is what we've been telling you for years now, for decades on end, about the decline of America economically. All right, and ultimately physical on a physical scale, because America's going to be nuked by its enemies. which is you know, countries like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and even America's own allies, according to the Bible, all right, according to the biblical prophecy, all right. And this is, you know, you can say that this is engineered by the elites, like Adam Green tried to say, you know, in a hidden cabal of so-called Jews who was setting up the stage for this. But in all reality, this has been prophesied way before these rats came into power, man. All right, way before the elites came into power. Okay, so really, this performance is being orchestrated by none other than Yahweh, who's the God Almighty, and His Son Yahweh Shah, who the world really calls Jesus Christ, according to the Bible. All right, and I just want to read this real quick. out of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 13, verse 23. It says, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look what he saith, they extol it to the clouds. All right? Yeah, so when it's being broadcasted on the news about the decline of the American dollar, the economic collapse of America, okay, and that is going to lead to a major catastrophe in society. You know, when you have a news anchor telling it, and he's well dressed and very well eloquently spoken, people want to pay attention to it, man. Okay, they have respect upon what that person has to say. All right. It says, but if the poor man speak, right, which the poor man represents the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the apostles and the bishops and elders and brothers out there of Great Millstone who hit the highways and the byways on a weekly basis. Okay, but if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And that's what people do, man. They don't have no respect for what we have to say out of the ancient scriptures and how it fits in society today, how society is basically being played out today, in which it's prophetic through the scriptures. Okay, so people look at us like we bugged out, man, like we crazy, you know. It says, and if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Yeah, that's right, man. If we, you know, if we stumble, we know what the scriptures say. We speak with stammering lips. You know, people are gonna sit there and basically ridicule and mock us. That's why people are always scoffing at us, man, scoffing and talking shit against us. Okay, but when these newscasters and these news reporters say the same exact thing that we're saying, all right, nobody's scoffing at them. Nobody's talking shit against them. Okay, all right, and you know, as far as America goes, you know, you've heard a lot. They said it all in that news clipping. Okay, from the decline of the American dollar, how it's being devalued and losing its strength, how other countries are basically doing not only considering an alternative, but acting on the alternative of using another dollar to trade. Okay, which is further weakening the American dollar. This is all scriptural. It's all prophetic, man. All right, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. You got Adam Green sitting there boo-hooing about it, okay, because he wants America to be the dominant country because he grew up here, of course. All right, and that things would be worse if China and Russia were in rule. And see, that's another thing. The people that you least expect, because no one's considering that the so-called Negro, Latinos, and North American Indians here in America are going to be the next ones to rule. All right, that's not even on the back of anybody's mind. Okay, these people are so carnal and they're so faithless and you know and have a disbelief in the Holy Scriptures and God, right? That they don't believe at all that we have a chance to be the next rulers. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. You know, so they think that the Chinese are going to rule next, and the Arabs and the East Indians are going to join together this big coalition to come up against America and be the next rulers on earth. All right, but it's not going to work like that, man. Okay, divine intervention is going to take place, and Yahweh Shai is going to come back and set his people up to rule next, which are the people that I just named of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right, so I'm going to read Jeremiah 51 verse 7, and I'm going to end it on this note. It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. Babylon represents America. Okay, if you don't know that by now, I don't know what planet you've been on. All right, for the past few decades, man, we've been bringing it out that America is Babylon. And it's obvious, man, when you do the history on Babylon in comparison to the way America carries itself today. Okay? It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. That's right. All other nations have drunken off of the philosophies of America. Okay? That's why you have women's liberation and, you know, and these people come to this country, become Americanized, and you know, and everyone's accepted the US dollar as the global currency to trade. All right. It says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. That's right, and the nations are mad. And you can see that, man. The nations, all over the world, people are going crazy, man. Okay, because starvation, okay, wicked dealings in their countries, you know, democracy, the acceptance of democracy is weakening and ruining their countries. All right, the acceptance of a central bank in their countries has basically ruined their economy. Okay, so the nations are mad. They're going crazy. They're in the uproar. Okay, all right, and that's why they're basically joining together to basically destroy America, man, economically and ultimately physically, according to the Bible. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. All right, yeah. So America's going to be destroyed, man. We see it, you know, with the high prices of, you know, food and the average cost of living. Okay, through inflation. You know, like they said in the news, it's going to be hyperinflation on a catastrophic scale. Once, you know, these other countries such as Saudi Arabia that makes the petrodollar strong starts to use the Chinese yuan or find another way to trade or go to another dollar to trade. Okay, and that's going to totally cripple and crush the American dollar. Okay, so America can't be healed. It can't be healed. It's impossible, man. All right, this is biblical prophecy. It says we would have healed Babylon, and they tried that stimulus package after stimulus package. All right, with these different presidents that have been in office. Okay, but she is not healed. That's right, she is not healed. When you're putting money out of thin air, it's not backed by anything. It has no value to it. So it's not. So this country is not going to bounce back. It says, "Forsake her, let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies." That's right. So the Most High, God Almighty, whose name is Yahweh, and his son Yahweh Shah, is about to judge this place, man. The sins of America has finally reached the ears of the Heavenly Father to the point where he's about to come down and pronounce judgment. He's about to send his son with a host of angels, all right, to come down to America and pronounce judgment. Okay, so I'm going to end this video on that note. Say Shalom, Barakim, Lord willing. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully you were edified. Shalom.